There was a small dusty town where the evenings turned golden as the sun dipped behind the hills. In one corner of this town lived a 12-year-old boy named Arslan. His family was poor, his father was sick, his mother worked endlessly at home, and his two younger siblings barely had enough to get by. Poverty had settled in their home like an uninvited guest that refused to leave. But Arslan had something that poverty could not steal: a bright face and a brighter mind. Despite his torn clothes, worn-out slippers, and rough circumstances, there was always a spark in his eyes. Every morning he walked to school, every afternoon he worked at a tea stall, and in the evenings he washed dishes at another small restaurant. After all this hard work, his daily earnings were nothing more than a handful of coins and sometimes a couple of notes. One afternoon, while walking back from school, he passed through the town's main market. There stood a big, shiny shop with glass walls, Shoe Palace. Arslan walked past it every day, but on this particular day, something special drew him inside. Behind the sparkling glass was a pair of white sports shoes, brand new, clean, shining like something straight out of a movie. Arslan stopped. He stared. It felt like his heart had discovered its first real dream. He looked down at his feet, old, cracked slippers that had lost their shape long ago. Those beautiful white shoes felt like a piece of another world, a world he didn't belong to. But still, he whispered softly, "Someday, I will buy you." And so began his routine. School, work, home, and a few silent moments outside Shoe Palace, just staring with hope and determination. But dreams don't come true with wishes alone. They require effort, patience, and unshakable belief. Arslan had all three. He made a decision. He would buy those shoes, no matter what. From that day on, he worked even harder. He stayed late to clean the tea stall, reached early before the restaurant opened, and completed every difficult task with a smile. His bosses noticed his dedication and sometimes offered him a little extra money. But life, as always, wasn't easy. Every time Arslan managed to save some money, something happened at home. His father needed medicine. His sister needed school books. The electricity bill was overdue. And Arslan, with a heavy heart but a steady mind, placed his savings into his mother's hands. His mother would say, "One day, Allah will bless you more than you can imagine." Arslan only smiled. The dream of those white shoes stayed quietly in his heart, waiting. Months passed. One day, as he walked past Shoe Palace, he noticed something. The same pair of white shoes now moved to the sales section. He felt his heartbeat quicken. But even after the discount, the price was still more than 2 months of his hard work. He leaned against the glass and whispered again, "Someday, someday for sure." Summer came. Winter followed. Arslan continued working, saving whatever little he could. Finally, after months of patience, sacrifice, and endless effort, Arslan opened his small tin box one night. He counted the money slowly. His hands trembled. This time, the amount was enough. He could barely sleep that night. It felt like something magical was waiting for him.
The next afternoon, after finishing his work, Arslan walked to Shoe Palace. But today, his steps were different, full of energy, confidence, and hope. He pushed open the glass door gently. The shopkeeper, who had seen him stare at the shoes for months, raised his eyebrows in surprise. Arslan pointed toward the white shoes. I want to buy these." The shopkeeper smiled warmly. "Ah, the shoes you always come to see." He brought the shoes forward and placed them on the counter. Arslan took out his carefully saved money notes folded neatly, coins stacked with love. When the shopkeeper counted the amount, he paused. Arslan panicked. Was it still not enough? But then the shopkeeper looked at the boy and said softly, "You're short by a little, but keep your money. I'll cover the rest." Arslan froze. Tears filled his eyes. "Really, sir? You've earned them," the shopkeeper said. "Not just with money, but with hard work, patience, and that hope in your eyes." Arslan held the shoes as if they were treasure. For him, they were. He walked out of the store, not just with a pair of white shoes, but with something far greater, proof that dreams come true when the mind is rich, even if the pockets are empty. That evening, as he wore the shoes for the first time, his siblings cheered. His mother kissed his forehead with pride. Even his sick father smiled for the first time in days. Arslan knew this was just the beginning. The shoes weren't the destination. They were a reminder. A reminder that no matter how small you start, no matter how tough life gets, if your mind is rich with hope, discipline, and courage, you can change your destiny. And from that day onward, Arslan walked with a new strength. Every step in those white shoes felt like a promise that one day he would rise above poverty, not because he was born lucky, but because he chose to never give up.